Claressa Shields has challenged Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano to fight her and finally settled the debate of who is the greatest woman fighter of all the time. Claressa Shields has renamed herself GWOAT, greatest woman of all time. In this video, I'm going to talk about Claressa Shields, Katie Taylor, their fighting style. Where would this hypothetical fight happen and who would win? Let's start with Claressa Shields. She is undefeated, 15 wins over 15 fights. She's a two-time Olympic gold medalist. She grew up in Flint, one of the toughest area of Michigan. She had an abusive and traumatic childhood. Her father was in prison when she was younger, so she had to take care of her siblings, and she said that boxing saved her, that it was her escape. By the age of 15, Claressa knew that she was destined to be one of the greatest boxer of all the time, and at 17 only, she won gold at the London Olympics in 2012. And 4 years later, she made history again because she became the first American boxer, male or female, to defend an Olympic title. And now Katie Taylor, she is from Ireland. She's coming from a family that loved boxing because her mom, Bridget, is one of the first female boxing judge, and their father, Pete, was a national champion. He was her trainer, but then they split. But did you know that when Katie was young, there was a ban on female boxing in Ireland, and she was competing. She had to pretend to be a boy when she was competing. She was under the name of Kay Taylor. Then in 1997, boxing became legal, but it was only in 2001 that there was the first female boxing match in Ireland. Of course, Katie Taylor was competing there. She also made history at the London Olympics in 2012. She won gold. And then her and her father parted ways, so her dad was not anymore her coach. She said that she was really affected by splitting from her father. Her boxing suffered. She was going from club to club, really looking for spars in that period of life. She was sleeping in the car between trainings. She wasn't eating properly. She said that that was the lowest period of her life. She faced defeats, including that controversial loss at Rio 2016. But her 2022 fight against Amanda Serrano in Madison Square Garden in New York was one of the greatest events in boxing history. The fight sold out, they drew a global audience, and it really secured Katie's place as one of the best pound for pound fighters of the world. Okay, let's move to point two, their fighting style. Let's start with Claressa Shields. She's currently undefeated with 15 wins and no losses, and even though she doesn't have a lot of knockouts, she's still one of the top female boxers of all time because of her ability to switch up her style, adapt to the opponents, and smart tactics. She has also trained in MMA to improve some of her technique, like clinching. This added some nuances to her already impressive skill set. Her last fight was this July 2024 in Detroit against Vanessa Joanisse, and she won by knockout in the second round. Katie Taylor, she became pro in 2016, so now it's going to be almost 8 years. She's a few years older than Claressa Shields. And Katie Taylor's last fight took place last year, November 2023, against Chantel Cameron, and Katie won in the 10th round. Katie Taylor is known for her very high IQ and boxing intelligence, so she's able to outthink and outsmart her opponents. Early in her career, Katie was known to be a pressure fighter, always pushing forward. But over time, she has refined her ability to become more versatile, so now she can switch between pressuring and counter punching depending on the situation. I read something that it came from Ebony Bridge. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but she made some very bold claims. She said that Katie's style hasn't evolved over the years and it remained the same, hasn't changed at all, and that her style would work back in the days when there were not many top female players. But today, with the game evolving and more talent rising, Taylor needs to evolve her game. She feels that Katie's style has remained the same over the years. Okay, what would happen then in this fight, Katie Taylor, Claressa Shields? I think, and this is just my opinion, I can be completely wrong, I probably am, but I think that Claressa Shields would try to immediately establish her dominance with her high pressure style and will try to overwhelm Taylor. And I think that Katie Taylor, on her hand, will try to frustrate Claressa Shields. And I think she would try to stay mobile and avoid exchanges and try to make the most of her defense. Let's talk about some of Claressa Shields' advantages. She is younger than Katie Taylor. I think must be something like 8 or 9 years 9 years. And she also has a slight height and reach advantage. Katie Taylor's on her side. She has experience in longer fights because she fought more round in her career. So who would win in a fight, in this hypothetical fight? I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a tough one. Claressa Shields is the younger, fresher fighter, and also Erwin over Savannah Marshall in 2022 shows that she can adjust to those biggest moments. She has the confidence, she has the strength. But Katie Taylor has shown resilience and ring intelligence. But her fight against Chantel Cameron, we could see that she has been through more fights and is kind of like showing signs of wear, if that makes sense. I would say that Claressa Shields, she has the habit of pressure and overwhelm her opponents with intensity, and in this case, it would make it difficult for Taylor to keep her rhythm. I would say my final one is Shields would win by unanimous decision. Okay, now where would the fight happen? I want this to happen in Croke Park, Dublin. Okay, I think it would be iconic. It would be such an emotional moment because Katie Taylor has been wanting to fight back home in Croke Park for a long time. Our promoter Adi talked about the financial hurdle that comes with Croke Park. He said that it's extremely expensive to rent it, but that it might be able to find a way to make it work. This venue would be emotional, so emotional and so important for Katie Taylor. Then, obviously, number two, Madison Square Garden, New York City, where the fight against Amanda Serrano happened in 2022. The States would probably be a logical choice in terms of commercial potential, media attention, international fans. Then we have Vegas. Vegas could be a good option again from commercial standpoint, sponsorship and media coverage. Or maybe Detroit. Detroit has hosted many of Claressa Shields' fights. For a match of this caliber, no. For a match of this caliber might not be big enough. It's more intimate. Or London. London is a prime location for boxing. I think the O2 has the capacity of 20,000, which is not as big as the 80,000 in Croke Park. So, long story short, this fight, in my opinion, is gonna happen in the States. But I'm curious to know your prediction. Tell me in the comments, where do you think the fight is gonna happen and who do you think is gonna win? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.